A little bit, hey baby, that's all. Hey everyone, we're so glad that you are here with us on episode 5 of MV Students. We can't believe it's episode 5 already.
Yeah, it's crazy. So stick around. We're going to continue our series, Go the Distance, and another chance for you and your family to win a free pizza.
So,
Let's
do
this.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we came a long way. That's what the song say. And I could do all things. I could do all things. Yeah, I could do all things. Yeah. We came a
Everybody, do you know that you have survived a month in quarantine? Like, congratulations. We really seriously want to say we're super proud of you. You've been handling this incredibly well. And I have to say that we probably could not have gotten through all of this if it weren't for some of the laughs along the way. And today we just wanted to look at a few of the videos that have gotten Matt and I laughing about life in quarantine. But let's just go through a few of these here.
I don't know. What do you want to do today?
I don't know. What do you want today?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, did you notice it says quarantine day 1?
Day one, I was like, day one is like, woo! Like,
From the start.
Oh no! She just got herself in the face. You have a dog, right?
I do have a dog.
How have you let your dog out?
How I always let my dog out.
I mean, like on a leash and just let her
I don't
go?
have to like hang her out the window.
Yeah, so,
Did you notice the dog is on a collar? Not a...
and dogs don't understand social distancing. I was on a walk this past weekend, and the dog did not understand social distancing at all with its nose. It just went everywhere on me. I just felt super violated. I'm like, I'm used to having like 6 feet apart in all situations, and there was like no feet apart in all the wrong places.
I'm gonna try to put... That's gutsy.
Yeah, seriously, like, I wonder how many times they had to practice. Like, that is dedication. Because you know, like, they drop like 3 or 4 balls, and they're like, all right, who's gonna go down like 10 flights of stairs to get in this thing here? What's this thing do? What was he thinking was gonna happen? And it's like he just went for it so confidently.
I wonder what happens if...
But he was so confident about it. It was this is a good idea. This is and then he looks at you like surprised. Like what was? So guys, however you guys have been getting through life in quarantine, we want to say we're so proud of you, and we want to challenge you to finish strong and to kind of encourage you again to keep going. We want to send you and your family another pizza. We already had our winners this past week. They did phenomenally, and they're getting their pizza soon. And so we want to do it again. And so this is how you can do it.
So send us a funny video or photo of you in your life in quarantine, and we will share it on our stories and add you to a raffle for a free pizza.
Yes, guys, we can't wait to see what you guys come up with and how you guys are handling life in quarantine. And let's have some laughs together. We love you guys, and keep it going. So as we continue our series called Go the Distance, we're asking God to shape us and use this time of separation really as a time of preparation for you and for me. Because remember, the reality is that even though our plans have changed and our life may not have gone the way that we had hoped, God is still at work.
Yeah, so right now, let's zoom out and look at Joseph's story, because there is a theme that we do not want you guys to miss, and that's the theme of faithfulness in his life.
Faithfulness meaning that whatever opportunity Joseph was up against, rather than take the easy road out, Joseph chose to do it with excellence. And as a result, the people around him took notice.
Yeah, Mike, look in verse 2. Lord was with Joseph, and became a successful man, serving in the household of his Egyptian master. When his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made everything he did successful, Joseph found favor in his master's sight, and became his personal attendant. Potiphar also put him in charge of his household, and placed all that he owned under his authority.
So you start to see this principle emerge, where Joseph is faithful with small things, but those things strung together lead up to something big.
Yeah, we see this principle of faithfulness in verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph and extended his kindness to him. He granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. The warden put all the prisoners who were in the prison under Joseph's authority, and he was responsible for everything that was done there.
Yeah, so like even after he's thrown into jail, it doesn't stop Joseph from working hard, being faithful and trustworthy with the opportunities that were put in front of him. He never takes the easy way out. I personally am a person with a lot of excuses, and I don't know if you can relate, but I feel like I have an excuse for everything. I have an excuse for why I won't start my diet. I have an excuse for why I could be a little bit lazy or let the standard slide. I have excuses for why I sleep in late. I have excuses for why I stay up late and don't want to get up early the next day. I'm loaded with excuses. And with Joseph, Joseph could have had a ton of excuses, but he never takes the easy way out and continues to be faithful to what God gave him.
Yeah, Mike, this story is just so inspiring to look at Joseph's life, because there's so many times where I am not faithful when the times get hard. It's easy to crack. But Joseph is faced with so many difficulties, and he continues to be faithful through them.
So during this season of waiting in your life, what are some of the opportunities that he's called you to be faithful to? What are some of the dreams that he is trying to prepare you for? Because the reality is we don't just show up on the scene one day and then our dreams just come to be. We don't just end up one day becoming the person we dreamed we'd become when we become the adult. The truth is that you're becoming that person right now, and you're becoming that person by being faithful in small things and the regular opportunities that are in front of you. And I love how Craig Groeschel words it. Successful people do repeatedly what everyone else does occasionally. I once heard the definition of habit as you are what you repeatedly do. You become what you do regularly over time. So these small moments, these regular habits that we put into place are actually incredibly important, and they're very shaping.
I've seen the power of habit play out in my own life with my wife. I open the door for her every time she gets in the car, and even when I don't want to, when we walk up to the car and I open that door, it's a good reminder of the commitment I've made to her. Even when it's tough to serve her, even when it's tough to open the door for her, it's a habit I've created that has shaped the way I see her.
That's really good. In day-to-day life, it's easy to forget the small things. It's easy to put those things on hold. And I think the game changer for Joseph can be found in verse 2 of chapter 39. It says that the Lord was with Joseph. Joseph had this recognition that God was with him in all things. Do you believe that God is with you right now? Like really with you, like sitting in the room next to you while you watch this video with you. When you recognize God's presence with you, it changes how you see the everyday, mundane, and small things.
Yeah, Mike, we see the same thing in Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, do it enthusiastically, as something done for the Lord and not for men, knowing that you will receive the reward of an inheritance from the Lord. You serve the Lord Christ.
Hey, we serve Jesus, not people. If Joseph were to look at his life and his situation, he could say, well, I'm serving my master, or I'm serving people that own me. They're like slave owners. They're terrible people. They don't deserve my help. They don't deserve my effort. Sometimes there's teachers or people in authority in our lives that we like or we don't like, and based on our opinion of them, we choose how much of ourselves we want to give them. But the principle we see all throughout the Bible is that we don't serve people. We don't serve people, but we do serve an almighty and an amazing God who is worth our everything. And so when we come to any everyday task, Paul says to do it with enthusiasm, to put your heart behind it. And that principle of doing it regularly over time is actually really powerful.
And Mike, take this train of dominoes, for example. Each of these is a small and insignificant piece, but when you train them all together, they all play an important role of a big picture.
Yeah, so we have a complete domino train right here. And imagine each of these were the small mundane tasks that you have to do right now. What are the things that you wanted to do during quarantine? What are the opportunities that you have right now that you don't have when life is busy and full? What are those opportunities that God is calling you to be faithful to? They might seem small, but start small. All big things start small. And it starts by just doing them and doing them repeatedly. Being consistent in the small things leads up to bigger things. This domino isn't that big compared to the train. It's pretty small. Take out the domino and you take out one or two dominoes, and it has a huge impact on what can take place. If I were to knock these dominoes down right now, it doesn't make it through. If I were to reset these dominoes up, you get a whole different picture when they're all in place. And right now, your life is leading up
to better and bigger things. And it starts by being faithful in the small things, remembering that we don't do them for ourselves, we don't do them for other people, but we do them for God, and we do them trusting that when we give ourselves and we give our all to God, it leads up to something pretty amazing and pretty beautiful.